We hope that you had a great week. This week, we're going to talk about something that seems so simple, but is actually complex. It's organic matter.
You're right, girls. This week, we're going to start to dig into organic matter and what it means for our soils, the benefits of it, and what we can do to help encourage organic matter buildup in the soils and our health of our soils as well. So, as we start to dig into organic matter, oftentimes we think about organic matter with just being the residue that was left on the surface of the soil. Today, what we're really going to dig into, though, is what is happening in the soil itself. All of these roots, the slow organic matter that's broken down from our bean stubble or our corn stubble, and even all of the organisms that are in there. In fact, Jill, she has a tablespoon. We're going to put a tablespoon of soil in there. So that looks about good. Girls, you want to tell us about how many organisms do we have in 1 tablespoon of soil?
More than the people on the earth.
You're right. We have over 7 billion organisms, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, that are all found in just a single tablespoon of soil. Why do I like to start there? Because when we think about soil organic matter, it's about so much more than just what's happening on top of the soil. We really want to focus on what is happening within the soil because it's everything in there that's going to influence what we're going to see this week.
So what do these billions of organisms really do in our soil, Dad?
That's a great question, Ellen. What do these billions of organisms do? Well, one thing I want to focus on today is they help drive a process called mineralization. And mineralization is just simply taking organic forms, as we look at our soil here, and turning those into plant available nitrogen, plant available phosphorus, and plant available sulfur. Because in fact, when we think about the levels, for every about 1% organic matter in our soil, you can get 20 free pounds of nitrogen. You can get 2 free pounds of phosphorus, and you can get somewhere around 1 free pound of sulfur, right? And so when we think about managing and utilizing all of those bacteria, it drives what we like to call our cycles. This natural progression of organic matter to plant available form, back to organic matter again.
Are you telling me I can get free fertilizers from my own soil? Yeah, with the organic matter.
You're right. We can get our nitrogen credits and we can get small amounts of phosphorus and sulfur. And this is the great things. As our soils warm up, they mineralize faster with all of this bacteria, which releases them exactly when our plants need them in a form our plants can use.
So is that the only thing we can get from organic matter?
No, it's amazing everything that organic matter influences. And the next thing we should talk about is the structure of our soil, right? We know that we're going to build it. We know that we have billions of microorganisms. We know that we can get free fertilizer, as you pointed out, Jill, but it also is going to influence the structure of our soil. In fact, we like to call it aggregation. It's this idea that our soil actually has structure to it, where the roots can grow through, and we have pore space. And remember, pores are just these little holes around all the particles of the soil. And in those pores, we really find a couple of things. We can find water and we can find air. All of that is influenced by organic matter. And as you guys have experienced the last couple of years here in Missouri, we always run out of water when we get to July and August if we don't have irrigation. Organic matter is a great way for our soils to hold more water. In fact, organic matter works a lot like a sponge. It's going to be found in the soil, and when water comes in, it simply sucks that water up. And then as our plants need it, that water is going to slowly be released back to the plants. In fact, some really nice research out of the University of Minnesota says that sometimes we can get up to 5 to 7 or 8 days more of plant available water by working to increase that organic matter. Levels that they talk about is somewhere between 5,000 and on the very top end, maybe somewhere around 20,000 gallons of water more per acre. That's almost an inch more water that is free when we need it because we always are running out of water.
Dad, it's becoming very clear to us that organic matter is very important to the soils. So how do we add it to our soils?
You're right. We've barely scratched the surface, if we can say that, but we're definitely seeing how important organic matter is. So as we think about how can we build our organic matter, first of all, it's important to understand it takes time. It's not a 1 or 2 year response. It's going to take a little while for us to start to build that. But how can we start to incorporate organic matter? Well, the first one is simply our crop residues. When I used to teach girls, I'd always talk about toolboxes, and sometimes tillage is the right tool for the right time. However, tillage will actually break down this organic matter faster by introducing oxygen. So a key thing we can start to do, just like in this bean field right here, is to work to minimize our tillage, allowing our crop residues to slowly work back in. Cover crops are another great idea. Just like we run cereal rye on our place, that way it's adding it above ground. But one thing I'm always amazed by is that if you use a cereal crop or a small grain crop as a cover crop, you might add 3,000 pounds of root mass per acre right here into the soil. So massive amounts. So again, when we're thinking about our soil and our organic matter, it's about so much more than simply what is happening on top. We really want to focus what's happening in.
Dad, remember when we talked about CECs? Does organic matter have anything to do with that?
It does. Organic matter is such a great way to help hold nutrients in that rooting zone. Remember, we talked a lot of our soils might be running anywhere from a 12 CEC, maybe up to a 20 or a 22 CEC. Organic matter actually has a value of 450 CECs. So sometimes up to 20 times more than even a fairly heavy soil. Why is that important? Because remember, our CEC helps us hold our nutrients right where we want them. And in fact, we really want to focus on holding them right around that rooting structure, which is where our plants are going to need it. One thing I think it's important though to think about as we're talking about building organic matter is we know it takes a long time, right? It doesn't happen overnight. So what are some other things we can do to help build that CEC in the furrow, right there around the seed where those initial roots are? And that's where our humic acids come into play, right? Humic acids are actually derived from organic matter. There's lots of different forms. One of the most common forms is leonardite, which is kind of like a soft coal. You girls have seen that up in North Dakota. But what happens with those humic acids is we can break them down either biologically or with potassium hydroxide like a coffee maker. And when we place them around the seed, they help hold those nutrients and they help give us structure right there around the seed. Not the whole soil, but right there, which is so important because those humics then also influence our root growth. It's amazing the amount that comes from organic matter when we think about those humic acids. There's a lot of research that shows humic acids increase lateral growth of our roots, which says we're going to spread out more and we can incorporate those in. And humic acids are fairly easy to use. We have such things as Inferno and Upward at Ag Explore, where you can put it right in furrow, or you can go 2x2 and it's going to be there with your fertilizer to help hold it, but it also is going to be there to help get your plant off to a great start with its root growth. So whether we're thinking about building organic matter slowly with leaving our residue on the top, incorporating a cover crop and trying to build it from within the soil on top, and also including humics within our planter box or our 2x2 treatments, we need to make sure we focus on the importance of organic matter.
Have a great weekend, and don't forget to take your soil test.